Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Market Hero and WordPress together. This has been a challenge for me because I've been trying to find a simple way of getting my opt-ins to work seamlessly. So I've been offered quite a few suggestions like Zapier, but to be honest, that was just too much tinkering for me. I wanted a system which was very straightforward, easy to integrate. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you step by step which plugins and how I managed to get this working on my system. So the plugin that we're going to be using is called Thrive Leads. This is from a company called Thrive Themes. This is a conversion-focused WordPress themes and plugin company. They do a fantastic job of it. So if we take a look here, in fact, let's go to one of their products, which is Thrive Themes, and I will show you the features that it has. So if I come over here to Thrive Leads, we can see that the features are quite, in fact, you may have seen these already, but they involve things like having a pop-up like that. You can also have a sticky ribbon, inline forms, two-step opt-ins, slide-in, opt-in widget. You can also have screen filler overlays, and all these can be connected with Market Hero, and this is why I really love this. The connection is also quite straightforward. Now, there's one thing I do need to mention here. This plugin is a paid plugin, so you do need to go and purchase this. So here's their pricing. They have a membership of $19 per month. So basically these are the prices, but to be honest with you, I've been using this service for a very long time and I'm really pleased with it. All my opt-in forms use Thrive Leads, and also this is how I've been building my mailing list over the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in, download the plugin and show you how I install it on my website. So I'm already a member, so what I'm going to do is to go ahead and download this plugin. So I'm going to come over here to membership dashboard. I'm going to come and scroll down and find my product. And by the way, if you become a member, it doesn't mean that you only have access to that particular one plugin. It means that you have access to pretty much everything on their system. So as you can see here, I've got access to all these plugins, and all these do a very good job of building your mailing list if you're into that kind of stuff. Okay, so over here, I've got Thrive Leads. I'm going to go ahead and download it by clicking this. So now that it's downloaded, I'm now ready to go ahead and use it. Now, before I do that, I'm going to need my license key. So I'm going to come over here to my account and licenses, and then I'm just going to go ahead and copy my license, which I'll then paste in as I'm building my website. Okay, so now let's move over to our WordPress website. So over here, all I have to do is to come over here to plugins and then click on add new. Okay, so since our plugin has been downloaded onto our computer, I'm going to click upload, choose file, and then I'm going to go to my downloads folder and double click on it, click install now. And in a very short space of time, this plugin is going to be now installed on our system. And then all we have to do now is to add our license key, and this will be ready for us to go ahead and set up. Okay, so now my plugin has been uploaded. All I have to do now is to click on activate plugin. Right, so now that it's activated, it has been added here onto my left panel. So now I'm going to go to my license manager and add my license key. So here I'm just going to add my email address. Okay, so my license is now activated, and now you can see that license is used. I've only used 9 out of unlimited. So you can use this for unlimited websites. So this is the licensing option that I went for. If you'd like to use Thrive Leads for your own website, I will leave a link in the show notes below, and you can go ahead and sign up for your membership. Okay, so now that I have this in place, what I need to do now is to go to Market Hero and create our stream. So I'm going to come over here to Market Hero and I'm going to click this button here, which says New Stream. Okay, so now we can start building it. So this is going to be our opt-in. So I'm just going to drag it here onto the screen, and then I'm going to go in and do all my settings. So over here, we don't have to worry about putting in a lot of information because Thrive Leads is going to handle all of that. So we just need the basics here. So all this, the image, the link, I don't need to worry about all of this. Okay. You may need to put a thank you URL though. So let's say someone has signed up onto your page you can create a custom thank you page which is triggered when someone fills in that form. So this is something that you may want to put here. But for this example, I'm just going to leave this blank as it is. But the most important thing here is to come over here to the editor. I'm going to choose a template. So I'm just going to go with any template here because it doesn't matter which one I choose. So I'm going to click on select template. So now we have this template. So I'm going to choose to uncheck where it says require last name because we don't need the last name for this. Okay, so now that we have this, you can now go ahead and click OK. Right, so what you may want to do as well to your stream, I'm just going to add an action just to show you that, how easy it is to use Market Hero. So here I'm just going to add a tag to this. So let's call this tag test, okay? And save. So what's going to happen is when someone signs up onto this opt-in, they're then given a tag which says test. So this is very important, especially when you're having quite a long list of streams. So you need to be able to distinguish these in order for you to be sending emails to or promotions to different people that sign into your streams. So let's go ahead and name it and then publish it. So over here, we're just going to call this test stream like that. And then over here, we're going to go ahead and publish it. Right, so now our stream is published. I'm going to click this little icon here on the opt-in, and then I'm going to click on show public opt-in. Okay, so this is where now we're going to copy this HTML code. But for now, I'm just going to leave this page as it is, and then I'm going to go back into our Thrive Leads plugin and create our pop-up. So back here onto our WordPress website, I'm going to go into Thrive Leads. Right, so now I have all these options that I can use to create my list. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this shortcodes option. So I'm going to click on add new. So let's call this test. Add lead shortcode. Okay, so now we have it here as test. The next thing you want to do is to come over here now and click on edit. Now we're going to create the form. So I'm going to click on create form. So let's call this form test, and then we can click on create form. So this is going to be the shortcode that we're going to use to trigger this form. So over here now, I'm going to click on edit design. So now we need to design the actual form and make it look the way we want it to look. So I'm going to click on edit design. Okay, so normally what I do is, in fact, there's options here to use these templates, but I like building all my opt-ins from scratch. So I'm going to click this blank one. Choose template. Right, so now we have this blank opt-in. So what I'm going to do here is to just add a bit of text to this to make it look like a real opt-in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and drag a heading like that and let go. So I want this centered. So my heading goes there. That's fine. And then I'm going to add some paragraph text below the heading like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to Lorem 2. The reason why I'm going to Lorem 2 is I just need to get some dummy text. But in your case, you need to add proper text that goes here for your opt-in. So I'm going to paste my text in here like that. And I'm going to highlight and center it like that. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Next, I am going to add an image. So I'm going to come over here to image, drag it over here below the paragraph like that. So now I'm going to choose an image that I'm going to use for this. So I'm just going to go with any image here in my library. In fact, let's go and use this one here. Insert into post. So now we have this image right here, which you can then control by coming over here and resizing if you wanted to. Okay, so now that we have this, I'm going to click here on the background, and then I'm going to click on background style. Over here, we can change our color for the background. So now I've just made it black. So that's the color that you could go with, or you can make it white if you want, but I'm just going to keep it simple and just have it as a very light gray. Click apply. So as you can see, there's a lot that we can do, but the most important thing here is to connect this to Market Hero, and this is what we're going to do now. So to connect it, all you have to do is to click on this lead generation like that. And then you need to come over here to connect form to service. Click on that. Now, here's the thing. There's a new API connection. We don't even need to look at that, okay? The main thing is right here, HTML form connection. Click once on that. Now, we can go back to Market Hero, copy this HTML code like that, come back, and we're going to paste that HTML code right in here. Next, I'm going to click on Continue. And now we can see that this has now been added onto our opt-in form. Now, what we need to do here is, if you want to get rid of this last name, you can go ahead and do that and also rename these. So to do that, I'm going to click on Edit Form Elements. So now you can click one by one. So I'm going to click once on this one here, and then the placeholder text, instead of having complete your first name, I'm just going to keep it simple and just call it name. And then I'm going to make it a required field. Okay. On the next one here, I'm just going to call this last name. I'm going to leave this as an option, which is not required. Click Save. And then over here on the last one, email, I'm just going to call this email like that. And this is required because obviously this is very important for building your list. Okay, so now that we have that in place, this also can be changed, believe it or not. So you can call this download now, or you can call it get offer if you're giving away an offer like that. Oops, click update. And you can also change the button. So let's go ahead and change the button color. Right, so over here, we can see the button color here is gray. So we're going to change this. And we can see now that I've changed my color. You can resize it. You can make that a bit smaller, center it. You can also make the text bigger if you wanted to. But we're going to leave this as it is. Okay, I'm going to click on now, save and close. Right, so now that we have all this in place, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and save this like that. And now we're going to find a place where we can paste this shortcode on our page. And this is going to be our opt-in for our website. So back over here, this is the shortcode that we need. So I'm going to copy it like that. And then I'm going to come over here and find a page where I can paste this shortcode. So I'm going to click on all pages. And then I'm just going to go to my home page. First, I'm going to click on view. Right, so I'm just going to find a place to paste this. Okay, so I want to create a place to paste this. So over here, I'm going to enable my visual builder. So I'm going to change my rows here. I'm going to click this rows icon, choose 3 like that. And then in one of these, this is where I'm going to add my shortcode. So this is just going to go in as my normal code. I'm going to paste my shortcode in here like that, save it. So now we can see our opt-in. It has last name, email, and get offer. So I've just pasted this shortcode quickly here on this page, but this can be added anywhere on your website. So I'm going to save the page for now, and then I'm going to exit the Visual Builder, and we're going to test this. So here I'm going to add my name. Okay, I'm going to add my email, get offer. So this is where you'd get your thank you page if you had set it up. But the good thing is Market Hero gives you a default thank you page, which just says, congratulations, your submission is confirmed. So at this point, this is where I can go now and check my email and see if I've received my confirmation email, which I have. And then let's go into Market Hero now and see if this submission has been added to Market Hero. So I'm going to come over here to Market Hero, and this is our test stream that we created earlier on. I'm going to click on it, and we can see straight away we've got 1 lead, which is fantastic. So this is actually working. So as you can see, it's very, very straightforward. All you have to do is to just copy the HTML code from Market Hero and add it onto your Thrive leads. And this is how it basically works. So I'm just going to go back to my website, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a pop-up for your website. So over here, we're going to click on Dashboard, and I'm going to come down here to Thrive Dashboard. Click on Thrive Leads. Right, so over here, let's create a pop-up. So to do that, we need to create a lead group. So let me click on add new. So let's call this group test group, add lead group. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come over here and click on add new type of opt-in form, click lightbox, and then over here on the top, you can set your targeting. So if I click this gear icon here, I can choose where this pop-up needs to go. So it can go on my front page, all my posts, it can go on all pages, and so on. You can actually go into the exclusions and say, right, you want it on all posts, and then you can exclude which pages you don't need this on. So let's say, for example, you don't need it on the 404 page and on the search page. Those are my exclusions. You can also set this, save these settings here as a template, but we're not going to do that. I'm just going to click on save and close. Now that I have set my display settings, now I'm going to click on add to add my pop-up. So I'm going to click on create new form, call this test pop-up, create form. Right, so now that we have this, it's time to design it. So I'm going to click on edit. So similar to what we had before, this is now where I can go ahead and start designing it. So as I mentioned before, I like starting this as a blank template. So I'm going to click on blank template, choose template. And then now I'm going to build this from scratch. And all this is drag and drop. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to add my heading, drag it into the background. And again, I'm just going to leave it as that. Heading goes here, paragraph text goes there. Come over here to Lorem 2, copy my dummy text. I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to make sure that it's centered. And as I mentioned before, or as I did in my previous example, you can actually add images onto this if you wanted to really express what this pop-up is about. So that can be added there if you wanted to, but this time I'm just going to add an icon. So I'm going to drag this icon here, right at the top of the heading, choose my icon. So for this, I'm just going to add this camera icon, select, and then I'm going to change the color. So first of all, you can set your maximum width. You can make this bigger, but to be honest, I prefer going with the default size right here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to add my lead generation. So I'm going to click here on lead generation, drag it over here, but this is going to be below the paragraph text. So this is what I am going to connect with Market Hero. So now that I have this right here set, I'm going to come over here to connect form to service. I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to click on HTML form connection. And now we need to go back over here and go into our stream. So I'm going to click this pencil icon, and then I'm going to click this little icon here to show our opt-in link. Click on HTML code. I'm going to highlight the code like that, copy to clipboard. Now back to my lightbox, I'm going to paste it in here, okay? And then click on continue. So now as before, we have our fields. I'm just going to go now and customize these fields again one more time. So for the first name here, I'm just going to change this to name, that, last name, and email. Now for this, I'm going to do something a bit different because I want to get rid of this last name, because this is something that you may have seen in some opt-ins where they don't actually have the last name, because the less fields you can have, the better. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to click on save and close. Right, so to get rid of that, what I need to do is to come over here to edit HTML form, and then I'm just going to hunt for the for the text that has that last name. So I can see the last name is here. So I'm just going to follow it to where it started. Okay, so it ends right here where it says complete your first name, and then you have this break, this BR. So I'm going to highlight all that until I get to input submit form email, right? So that's where I need to be. So I'm just going to delete that and then click continue. Now you notice that we only have your first name and your last name. And for some reason, I didn't save this information right here in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I'm going to click on edit form elements, and then I'm just going to rename this to just name, and this one here to email, like that. Okay, so now that I have this in place, maybe you're giving away an ebook or whatever it is, and you want them to download, again, I'm just going to leave this as download. And this time, I'm just going to change the color quickly here. But you can change this as I've shown you. Click apply, the button width, you can adjust that if you wanted to. Okay, so now that we have all this, if you want to adjust the typography, the positioning, the background style, all these options are right here for you. So you can go ahead and do that. But for now, I'm just going to leave this as it is. I'm going to save that. So now that I have all the elements I need, I'm just going to come over here to this little icon here to close this. Okay. And then I'm just going to make it slightly bigger like that. Now, here's something that is very, very important. This pop-up looks like this on the desktop, but we can also make adjustments on mobile phones and tablets. So to do that, you can come over here to responsive view, click on tablet. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to save this. So you can come over here to the tablet and take a look at what it's going to look like on the tablet. So here you can see it's beautiful. If we come over here to the mobile, again, we can see here that it's looking really, really nice. But if you wanted to make some adjustments, you can always click in here, highlight all the text like that, and change the size. So maybe you may bring it down to about, say, 16. The line height, bring it down a bit because this is a mobile device. The heading here, you can actually go in and adjust the heading. So instead of having it size 30, you can bring it down to about 26. You can also come to this icon here and change the size. Okay, now you may be asking, now these adjustments I'm making, are they not affecting the other views like the desktop view and the tablet view? Well, the answer to that is no. All these adjustments I've just made, these only apply to the mobile view. So now I can just go ahead and save. And if I go back to my desktop, you can see here that my size is perfect. If I click on the tablet, that's looking fine too. And then if I go to my mobile, that's where I've done the changes. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So now that we have this all set and it's all saved, I'm just going to save this one more time just to be on the safe side. Okay, now I can come back over here and adjust the frequency. So this is where now you can say, right, I want my pop-up to show up every, let's say, 3 times. Click on save. You can choose the animation. So if you wanted to zoom, you can choose, say, slide from the top like that. So I'm just going to leave slide from the top selected. Right, display immediately on page load. So this may be an option that you want, but you also have different options. You can have when the user clicks an element, when the user scrolls to a percentage off, the way down on content. You can show after a certain period of time. So you can maybe show this after, say, 3 seconds, for example. So this is up to you how you want to have it. So mine is set at 3 seconds. I'm going to save this. Okay. So now that I have this all in place, what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my website and see if this pop-up shows. Right. Now for this to show, what you need to do is to make sure you go back to Thrive Leads, and then you want to click on this test group. So you can see here, display on desktop is set to no, to off at the moment, and mobile is set to off as well. So what you want to do to make this go live is just to click on yes and yes to the mobile, and that's all you need to do. And now if we go and take a look at our pages, this pop-up should show. And just as a side note here, this plugin also shows you how many impressions you've got and how many people have signed up onto the system. So in my opinion, this is a fantastic plugin. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to go and test and see if this is working. So I'm going to come over here into a new incognito window, and I'm going to paste my URL, and we're going to wait a few seconds and see if this is working. Okay, so you can see now that our pop-up is now working, and as soon as I fill in my name and email address and click on download now, it will redirect me to my page that I've set. But the most important thing is all my leads now are being captured on Market Hero, And from then on, I can have my funnels all working from this actual pop-up. So you can design this to however you want it to look, make it look beautiful. And in my opinion, this is the best way to connect Market Hero, Thrive Leads, and WordPress. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and do follow me on my social media platforms. By doing so, you will be notified every time I release new videos. Until next time, thanks for watching and see you soon.